Alrighty, so this is Module 13 challenge for the e-commerce backend. And so far what we have here are the dependencies which meet the technical acceptance criteria as stated in the requirements. So we have .env, Express, MySQL, SQLize, and over here in the server.js file, I've configured it so that way the SQLize syncs with the database and the models themselves. Currently I have them set to false, but I'm going to set that to true just so we can go ahead and rebuild the database here in a second. Let's go over the models in here. So category.js, we have a unique ID of integer, which is the data type. Allow null, false, primary key true, auto increment is true. So whenever a new category is created, it automatically creates a new ID, a new unique ID. And then we can go ahead and create a category name. Data type is string, allow null would be false. Over here in product.js, we have the same ID structure as category.js. Integer, unique true, allow null false. Primary key true, auto increment true. And we have a product name as string, allow null is false. Price, we have set to a decimal, so that way it only accepts 2 decimal places. Allow null, and then it validates that it is a numeric number. Stock is going to be a data type of integer, allow null false. Default value will be 10. So if you created this and you didn't put in a value for stock, it's going to create its own default value of 10. It is a numeric. And then category ID, this one is a foreign key that references the category model with the key of ID, and it is an integer. Over here in the product tag.js, we're going to go ahead and have the same ID structure as the other ones. So integer, unique true, allow null false, primary key true, auto increment true. We're going to have the product ID, which is a foreign key that references the model product and the key of ID within that model. Tag ID does the same thing. It is a foreign key that references the tag model and the key of ID. Over here in the tag.js, we're going to go ahead and have the ID column, which is the same structure as the rest of them. Integer, unique true, allow null false, primary key true, auto increment true. Tag name, however, is going to be a data type of string, and the allow null is set to false. So if you try to create one, it'll throw an error at you. Over in the index, this is where the associations live. We have product belongs to category, and category can have many products, and the foreign keys are both category ID for that. Now over here, we have product belongs to many tags, because one product can have many tags, and that is through product tag model and with the foreign key of product ID. Tag belongs to many products, because the tag can belong to many products, through the product tag model with the foreign key of tag ID. Product tag belongs to product, and then a product tag belongs to a tag, which you can see in the product tag model. You'll see that it references both the product table and the tag table, or models. And then brings down here, product has many product tags, because a product can have many product tags associated with it, and tag has many product tags. Cool. So those are all of the associations and the models. Go ahead and exit out of these, open up this one right here. And over here is our schema page. So what we want to do with this is go ahead in terminal, type in mysql-u root-p, enter in your password. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and run source db/schema.sql. And that recreates our database. It drops it if it exists, and then it creates it again. And from there, we can go ahead and quit out of that. And then from here, we're going to populate our database with the seeds given to us. So by running the command npm run seed within the terminal. And that's going to go ahead and populate our database with our data, which is over here in our seeds file. So all this nice data is packed into here. So go ahead and exit out of that, pull this guy up a bit. So from there, now that we know our database is working, we can go and hop over to our roots. Over in the roots API index file, pretty much shows the roots, and then index shows that they're being in there. So we have 3 different root files. We have our category roots, which are find all category, so category.findAll using the sequelize. Then we're going to go ahead and include the product model, so that way we can include all of the products that each category has within them. And to do that, and to find one specific category, we're going to find that by ID, which is in the parameters. So category, and we have the where attribute that pretty much means where ID is equal to the parameters ID. And we're going to include the product data within this one. Now the post, to create a category ID, we need one field, the category name, which we're going to pass in through the body through a JSON object. And like I said, with the models, all of them are auto-generated to create a new ID, a new unique ID upon creation of a new product, category, product tag, or tag. So scroll down. This one is going to be our update root. So we do category.update, and we enter in the field that we want to update. So the category name is going to be rec.body.category name, because it's going to be passed in through a JSON object. And the where attribute is going to show us which category we want to update using the parameters of passing in the ID. Now this is our delete root for category. So it's going to be category.destroy, and we're going to delete by a category by its ID value. So we're going to use the where attribute again and pass in the ID through the parameters. And then those are our roots for category. So our tag roots, very similar. Tag.findAll is going to find all tags, and we're going to include all of the products and their attributes that are associated with that tag. Down here, to find one tag specifically by its ID, we're going to use the where attribute again, where the ID is equal to the parameters ID that we pass in. And we're also going to include the product data and their attributes along with it. Router.post is going to be our create a new tag root. So to create a new tag, all we're going to need is to pass in the tag name through the body, which is the JSON object that we request. And from there, the ID is going to be automatically generated. And then right here with the update root, so our .put root, we're going to update a tag's name by its ID value. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass in the tag name through the body, which is the JSON object, through tag name. And then we're going to have the where attribute once again with that ID value of the rec.params.id. So we scroll down to the router.delete. Tag.destroy, this is going to be by its ID again, so we're going to pass in the where attribute with the ID of rec.params.id, so that's going to be over here in the root. And the product roots, this is going to be similar to the other ones, product.findAll. I'm going to include the category and the tag data, which is what is listed here, and this is going to pass in all of the data that belongs to both of them. To get one product, we're going to pass in where attribute again with ID value of rec.params.id, and we're going to pass in the category, the information, and the product tag data. Now to create a new product, what we're going to do is do product.create rec.body. So we're going to pass in the whole body, and the whole body should look like this in the JSON object that we pass in. And in here, this is pretty much just mapping out the tags that we're going to be passing into it. So it's going to create a new tag for each one, new product tag for each one, and associate them with each other. Update root is going to be product.update, and we want to update the body. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass in the where attribute once again with the ID value of rec.params. So anything with that ID is going to update the body with whatever information that we pass into it. Now, the delete root is very simple. We're deleting by ID again, so we're going to pass in the where attribute once again to sequelize. ID value of rec.params.id, which we're going to pass in through the root. So once we do that, we go ahead and npm start. It's going to go ahead and drop all the tables, create everything. I'm going to clear that and run npm run seed once again, just to make sure that's populated. And then back in the server.js file, I need to change force true to force false. Now this will not delete all of the data from our database when we start it now. So npm start, npm start now. It's going to go ahead and turn on our server. And we can go ahead and go over to Insomnia to test all these roots out. So I have all these test roots out over here on the left-hand side. Get all categories, go ahead and send this request. All of them work, as you can see. And in here we have our ID of 1, product category shorts, products. We have 1 product ID in here, plain t-shirt. And shorts we have 1 product. It's gonna be 5, ID of 5, product name cargo shorts, music, so on and so forth. So if we want to get an ID by, if we want to get a category by ID, so far I've tested this with 1, so we can put in 2. It'll pull up 2, as well as the products that are associated with it. Say I wanted to create a new category. I would pass in a JSON object with category name, and then the name of the category. So I'm going to go ahead and send this one. So ID 6, test jackets. Go down to categories, see how there's no number, ID number 6 down here. Go ahead and send the request again. Now we have a new category with 0 products in it because we haven't passed any in or updated any. And the category name of jackets. So say I wanted to update the category name from jackets to culinary arts, I would pass in the ID of 6 because that is what the ID is for that. Go ahead and send that. It's going to show us it succeeded. And if we refresh this, it's going to go down. It's going to say culinary arts now. Say we wanted to delete that one. Delete 6. Category where the ID is 6. It's going to do that. If we go down here, see how 6 is there. Let's refresh that again. 6 is no longer there. Get all products. I've already tested this. Gets all of the products and their associated categories and their tags for each of them. So this plain t-shirt is white, has gold on it somewhere, and is pop culture related. Sneakers, category shoes, tags, they're white shoes. Branded baseball hat, category name, hats. And it goes through all of the tags that are associated with it as well as the rest of them. So get product by ID. Say I want product number 2, which I believe are the shorts. Oh no, there's shoes, my bad. It's going to bring us the product, all of its data, along with the category and product tags associated data. So bring that in. If I wanted to create a new product, say test product number 1, give it a price, the stock number, the tags that I wanted with, and the category ID I want associated with. Go ahead and send that. If I do get all products now, it's going to show up at the bottom. So underneath ID number 5. So ID number 5 is right there, ID number 6 right here. So this is our test product. I associate it with category number 3, which is music, and tags of 2 and 4, which are pop music and red. So say I wanted to update that one, change the pricing from $3.99 and stock of 32. Let's do $399 and a stock of 13,000 or 1,300. So 1,332. And do 5 and 4 along with that as well, and leave it in category of 2 and update the name of it. So I'm gonna go over here. Go over here and refresh get all products. It's gonna update test product number 1, category shorts, and it has more tags associated with it. So now I can go back and delete that by typing in the ID of that product, which is ID 6. Now it's going to go ahead and delete it, so it's no longer going to be in here. Yep, it's no longer in here. Those are the product roots. Get all tags, works the same way. I'm going to go through these. Each tag, so tag name rock music has its associated products in here. So we have product with ID of 3, ID of 4, their category IDs, product tags, and so on and so forth for each of the other tags. So now I can go ahead and get a tag by ID. So we can go ahead and get number 2. It's going to bring in that data. So I wanted to create a tag, test tag 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and create that one. It's going to give us an ID of 9 because there are 8 other tags currently, and with the name of test tag 1, 2, 3. So go ahead and get all tags. It's going to show up at the bottom with 0 products in it because we don't have any products associated with this tag yet. And it's going to be test tag 1, 2, 3. Say I wanted to update that one to say update test tag name. And go ahead and pass in the ID of 9 because that is the ID of that test tag, and go ahead and send that. Go to get all tags. It's going to be down here at the bottom. It says update test tag name. So I want to delete it. Go over here, delete root, ID of 9, send that, deletes it. It's no longer part of the data. Those are all of the roots. And thank you. Hope you have a great day.